Here we go. All right, try this again. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I'm walking. You can hear my clickety-clack shoes. But today is June 18th, 2016. And we're going to talk about the subject of disappointments and how we experience disappointment and how we the lessons that we can learn from our disappointments in particular, because let's back off just a second and say, if you think about each experience as a seed with potential, each experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, the ones where you feel elated and blissful, and the ones where you don't. Look at them all as seedlings of opportunity. And so I'm picturing like a little dot that radiates arrows out in every direction, and those are possibilities. Those arrows represent possibility, and there's not just one possibility. There's different ones. It's up to us where we want to take it. You can go through an experience, and you can say that experience only had the possibility of one. Just one singular possibility could come from that seedling, but that's not the truth. And the one seedling we're going to talk about right now is that of disappointment. So, like often, and maybe usually, I do these recordings immediately following an experience. And so, that being said, I just experienced a bit of a disappointment. And it wasn't like a horrible disappointment, but it was a disappointment. My heart, it made me feel like, that feeling where you feel like the water in back of your eyes, like deep inside of you, behind your eyes, is filling up because you want to cry. You're not gonna cry because it's not that bad, okay? But it was enough to where I felt that feeling, like my heart felt a little cut. And so we don't even need to go into the details of the disappointment, but because if you've ever experienced that feeling, then you can relate. Now, there's a series of responses that we can go through. And I'm not going to say universally we all go through the same processes when we experience disappointment right afterward. But for me, in this particular situation, my immediate response was, well, fuck that person. That was the second response. The first response was, ouch, that motherfucker hurt. God damn, that hurt. I want to cry. And I felt a cry inside myself. But then right after that, it was like, psh, bitch. And so, I let myself feel that. But when you feel those kind of feelings, you can't linger in that too long, You understand that it's part of the process. But you also realize that it's only part of the process. It's not meant to wallow in. It's not meant to set up your home there and live there, because that would be destructive to yourself, to your progress. The energy that you start putting out is going to be that kind of energy from around you. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass, and it's going to be harmful to people around you, or destructive or hurtful. But you don't judge yourself. You don't, shame yourself or guilt yourself because of the feeling. You feel it, you experience it, and then you realize, oh, This is a seedling with potential. And one of the possibilities that arose from that seedling was this feeling of, the first one of sadness or whatever, rejection, maybe. I would say rejection was a big feeling. For me, that's a big one. Rejection, and it was rejection, and then it was being pissed off. Okay, so those were two of the arrows coming shooting out of the seedling. And then now you say, okay, now what's the next in the process? Okay, been there, done that. I'm not going to linger there, because that's just, it's like everything is in motion. And when you try to squeeze something to remain in a certain place, it's harmful, because movement, growth, evolution, and progress, that's the way. Okay, so then it's, okay, the next arrow of possibility is, what have I learned? And so I will have to give a little bit of detail. Let's see if I can develop it without, because it's nice to not give detail, because then it'll be more applicable to more people, you can apply what I'm saying. Whereas the more structured and specific your story is, then it's going to be hard. It's like, okay, well, I have to be in that situation and apply that whatever worked for her. So I won't get too detailed, but basically what I experienced is something that I needed to understand, because I'm about to undertake a project, and it taught me that when I undertake this project, I'm going to be dealing with other people. And I need to be very careful when I'm dealing with other people to remember that people are sensitive, and that feeling of rejection is potent, and it hurts like a motherfucker. And so when I begin this project, to make it very clear from the outset to whoever I'm dealing with, loves, whoever you are, I just want to let you know that this is what this is and this is what this isn't. Because basically my experience was, the person, they said this is what this is, but it turned out to not really be true. And because it didn't turn out to be true, I think they had the best of intentions, but because it didn't turn out to be true, the effect that it had on me was that feeling, that all of that what I described, the rejection, the disappointment, the anger, the hurt, the sadness, because the person, they didn't follow through with something that they said was going to be a part of that process and in the project that they're doing. It's similar to the project that I'm going to undertake, but they're dealing with the public. And you have to understand, the public are real people. They're not just these faceless identities, out there that have no significance, just stick people. They're not stick people. They're real people with beating hearts and real tears and real feelings when we say we're going to do something, but then we don't do it. It's not okay to just kind of be flippant. I'm not gonna say this person was flippant, but if I was to do it now, I understand, because of my understanding of all of it, it would be flippant. It would be careless and even heartless to say, okay, I would be available to this and that and the other thing, and then every individual in the public is equally important. And even if I can make true on my word for 90% of the people, the 10% of the people that are going to end up disappointed and feeling rejected and hurt and sad and all of that, that's too big of a number. 1% is too big. And if I can't follow through and do it the way I said I was going to do it, I have to let them know from the outset, okay, this is what this is and this is what this isn't. So, I'm still fresh and raw in the feelings though. But at least I'm understanding that there's something in that seedling of disappointment, which is I learned a valuable lesson, very super valuable lesson, that people's lives are in our hands when we're dealing with the public and we're reaching out and we're trying to do things to whatever we're trying to do. We have to be thorough. We have to be very, very careful and understand and always remember every single last human being is important. And if we can't make true on our word to any one of them, then let that be known at the outset. And that's what I'm going to do when I start this project, is just help people realize, even though I wish I could do this, this, and the other, it's simply not going to be possible. And please, please be assured of the truthfulness of my feeling for what you're going through and this and that and the other. But if I promise that I'm going to be able to do something and then I don't do it, that's a living, breathing person that may end up feeling very hurt, and I can't have that on my hands. So it was a valuable learning experience, and then that way you take situations and you transmute them, you transform them like putty in your hand into something that's useful and valuable in how you're going to serve humanity. And so that's what I kind of got from that, and I'm at my destination now. So I just wanted to share that experience with you all and let you know too that if you are in any kind of situation where you're dealing with disappointment, just know within inside of that are the ingredients for countless and an infinite number of possibilities to be birthed. And don't ever confine yourself to saying, well, this is this, and so that has to be that. No, it doesn't, unless you make it so. And if that's the only lesson that you kind of learned from these thoughts that I'm sharing, well, then maybe that's good. So I hope this was helpful to you. It was helpful to me. It's helpful for me to articulate sometimes the thing that I'm going through, because it's almost like that voice is almost another person kind of talking to me and holding my hand and walking me through this process of, okay, I know you're still feeling the feelings of this disappointment and rejection, but here's some tools that can help you. So much love, everyone. Good night.